was a man with no life. The women don't bite, and I'll never get a wife. And I tried the polite candlelight, being nice, but despite how I might never write, I'm contrite. I was ticked one night, so I typed for advice. Wow, surprise, here's some guys, and they never tell me lies. Saying women shouldn't vote, and that men never cry. Saying women are to blame, and there's no fault of mine. Happened so fast, such a thrill, feeling ill. But by sheer ill will, I took the gulp of the red pill. What's the deal? Thought to fill, force the bitch to make my meal. Never seem to get my fill, I'm fiending for that fucking pill. Happened so fast, such a thrill, feeling ill. But by sheer ill will, I took the gulp of the red pill. What's the deal? Thought to fill, force the bitch to make my meal. Never seem to get my fill, I'm fiending for that fucking pill. Listen to the bald guy, chilling with some hotties, always driving up Bugatti, warning me about the bodies and the bitches stacking bodies. If she's trying to ride and shoddy, then I flush her down the potty. It's the alpha that I copy. Once upon a time, I was a loser in the basement. I took advice to change my life, moving up, face it. I trust my gut and shame the slut. I listen to what Kate said. I'm gonna get a girl and buy some pearls, I mean I chase it. I walk into the room and you can hear the red pills rattle. Anybody acting feminist or coy, man, I'll battle. Don't you dare tattle, it'll leave you kind of rattled. Put the bitches back in chattel, fuck, I treat them like they're cattle. I tried as I did, still the women don't come on to me. It's almost like they give a fuck about lost autonomy. I just wanna make the world work like it ought to be. If she leaves her man, the bitch is getting a lobotomy. Happened so fast, such a thrill, feeling ill. But by sheer ill will, I took the gulp of the red pill. What's the deal? Thought to fill, force the bitch to make my meal. Never seem to get my fill, I'm fiending for that fucking pill. If I don't like this, I call it the Matrix. Cannot contend with the facts, so I play tricks. If I don't like this, I call it the Matrix. Cannot contend with the facts, so I play tricks. Is she hot? Nah, she's not. Disagree? You a bot. Wonder why I missed the shot. I took the pill, but I'm still fraud. But these were lies I taught. I give up, I got the Glock. Say I'm through, it's time to rot. Wake the neighbors with the pop.
Yo, I'ma tell them what I am. I'm a conservative, can't censor me. Repeat the same crap, NPC, same argument since 03 and 17. I became the meme. Biden leads to double talk. His son is high on crack rock, but not as high as a gas stock. Please, dear Joe, make it fucking stop. They groomed the Timmy to believe that a dress should be worn. Hey, fuck our economy, put the illegals in orange. A bit ago, pitch against your feels. Sorry, facts, don't hear your squeals. Fake smarts gain mass appeals. After Trump, I now reveal I'm the snowflake, that's the deal. Hard to fathom, it's surreal. Having fits, I cry and spiel. Triggered sick, Christ take the wheel. Dems trying to kill the unborn. Hey, blind to the dying, I'm fighting abortion wars. I open your bio and free cause the pronouns are yours. Hey, then I reveal I'm hooked on the LGBT porn. It's the current year, it does appear my offended tears are in high gear. I've become what I've always feared. I'm a Christian hoe, your rights end here. Politicians scared of queers, behind closed doors they're licking rears. My moral outrage disappears, the coke bros are my puppeteers. Seeming Dems won't get my guns, NRA bitch they got funds. Arm the groomers, said and done, back to cops just having fun. Please dear God bring Reagan back, massive weapons bomb Iraq. Racist cops bitch that sounds whack, police on blacks having heart attacks. Delete my post, I'm a victim of Soros scheme. Elections rigged, the fantasy making me scream. Hey, return 45, say no to the woke regime. Hey, it's like 84 or well, the book I don't read. I think for me, I ain't no sucker. Get my news from Ben and Tucker. Damn the protests, less they're truckers. See Trump's ass, I start to pucker. In the closet, huffing powder. On my phone, I'm watching Crowder. Lib's got power, he's got louder. Hypocrite, I'm such a downer. The world is lacking in the volunteers. You're tweaking and freaking about dragging a beard. Your post for the cameras, faking the fear. You're waiting for a beard, you're slimy and weird. Kick up the gear, I'm pressing them here. You interfere, pretend to endear the women to steer. How you can smear some of your peers cause they are queers. Yeah. Believe me, Steve. Hey.
Can't believe this fucking loser actually tried to diss me. We all know if it got him views, he'd get down and fist me. Your corny flows, they miss me. My flow is better pissing. I can fight a lyric with speed, even if I sip the whiskey. You're labeling me gay, calling names to dismiss me. Limp dick sissy, rapping bitchy, sounding wimpy. Billy bucks, it ain't enough to get you a personality. Your girly fucks you, here's what's up, it counts as bestiality. You suck at trying to beat me when you really wanna be me. You a bum and kinda weaselly, allow me to proceed thee. Apparently you need the clarity just to see what is lacking your vocabulary. It's called integrity. I took a jump, risked the dream, I could have lost everything, but inside I got no shame. And besides, I'm not afraid of dummy lames who smear the name. Really seems they want the fame. Give them some, smear the brain. Verbally, I cling the pain. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. You really wanna diss me just for taking medication, bro. Accusing me of cherry picking all the education, yo. Apparently your brain is busted, I don't think it made it, no. I hope you know you're lower than the major population, ho. Check some narration about your mama's gestation. She's at the gas station and she's broke and getting wasted. Now check the translation, don't need no notation. Your mama starts pacing, she birthed a damn nation. Heart palpitations when we're seeing the duration that this nation will be facing. You the greatest mutation. We embracing salvation when I'm saying that I'm racing just to see that you're castrated. Gonna make you the new Caitlyn. Wasn't even trying to get the stacks, but it happened. You couldn't get dough with the Pillsbury rapping. You just a dumb hoe, man. The facts, you don't got them. You're not the bigger man, dog. You weak, you a bottom. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. I'm out here on the battlefield, lanes verbally impaled. Only way you'll get a life is if you order from the mail. You could be the bigger male, but you just a beta male. Listening, you go and pale. Kinda fat, you broke the scale. Need the meds, it's time to rail. Blue and smoke, they're all for sale. Chuck the gods, I'm Israel. How the fuck do I prevail? Why the fuck you always fail? Suck to win, no avail. Trying to duck, but here you wail. I'm leaving tux and need a braille. You're just a dweeb, you ain't a king. You never seen the fancy fling. Honestly, the funny thing is that it's dead up in your brain. Black and throne, I'm the goat. Hands are wrapping round your throat. I'm like a shark, you a joke. Should've brought a bigger boat. I'll let you coke before you choke like older folks sniffing coke. You're prone to clone the solid stone. Here you go, take some notes. Now you know you should've wrote. Never going toe to toe. Leave you bloody all alone. Never dissing Avalone. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack.
He also noted that I am an ape and I should go F myself.
Greetings and salutations to everybody. How are you? How is everybody doing today? Hope you're all doing well. I know I'm doing pretty good. Pretty gooshy in the coochie. Walsh's voice really caught me off guard. Yeah, you know what? That Walsh sound clip is hilarious, but it scares me a lot. It'll like catch me off guard if I hear just Walsh's voice suddenly. And he proceeded to call me an ape. All right, hold on. Let me make sure that everything sounds okay mic-wise. Testing. Testing. All right, that sounds all right. Sylvester Savage, yo, I see that you're here and interested in talking, or at least saying that you have quite a lot of opinions on some of my opinions. So if you'd like to chat, my dude, my dude Orano, then join the Discord, okay? It can be fun. All right, so people are saying turn the gain down just a bit. Testing, testing, testing. Now let's see. Does this sound better? Does it? Yeah, it sounds great. Hey, Hiccup Lover 55, thank you so much for being our first donor of the day with the $10 super chat donations. George Soros would be proud. Hi Hunter, hope you're well. I just told my conservative Christian dad last night that I'm an atheist, and I'm starting to regret telling him. Any advice, or have you experienced anything similar? Well, first of all, I'm proud of you for having a lot of bravery there. That's pretty cool. It also kind of depends on like how old you are. So like if you're like 15 living at home, dependent fully on your parents, and then you tell them that you're an atheist, that's definitely a worse situation to be in than like, I'm 18, I can move out whenever the fuck I want, and by the way, I'm an atheist. Like, if they still have a lot of control or power over you, just basically, like, if you still need them to survive, then it's probably not a great idea. In fact, I would probably steer clear of that just for the sake of trying to survive. So, hopefully you're of the age where you're able to go off to college or go share a place with someone else. I don't know, but ideally, you know, like it's just going to be something that he needs to get over, because if you think one way, then tough luck for him, because, well, people are allowed to think what they want to think and believe what they want to believe. I'm 28 and live independently. Okay, yeah, then you're good. Then I would say, you know, try to be kind. Try, you know, don't escalate it more so than it needs to be, but just a simple like, look, Dad, I understand that this is something really important to you, and I hope you know that this isn't any fault of yours. I don't think that you were a bad father or anything like that. I just, myself, I am not convinced by Christianity, and I think I'm going to do a little bit more work or research on it. Can we talk about it, maybe? Even something like that, just have a conversation about disagreements, is obviously a lot better of a way to go. All these NPCs mad at me, and I ain't even attacked nobody, just asked questions. I'm just asking questions, bruh. Alrighty. So I have my Discord thing open now. So if anybody wants to join and debate, all you got to do is enter my Discord server via link below or !Discord in chat. And then you go over here to the stage where you see I am Debate Hunter here. Real debates only. There are only real debates allowed, okay? So if you want to come on here and listen, that's totally fine. You have the ability, though, to raise your hand and request to come on. If you are going to do that, then make sure you have something legitimate that you want to debate. And it's not just a like, hey, I'm a really big fan, and by the way, what do you think of pizza? Haha. Like, no, none of that, okay? That actually is kind of frustrating. Show me who I attacked then. I never said you attacked anybody, but the whole, like, I'm just asking questions thing is a really funny meme that most people clown on nowadays. And when you say, like, oh, well, if Hunter supports mutilating children, like, you kind of attacked trans people by wrongly claiming that, like, the trans stuff is leading to the mutilation of children, which is just false. So, I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as to say, like, you attacked anybody, though. Now, of course, if you want to support the channel and have your message read and responded to live, as well as having Matt Walsh's hilarious voice chime in every time with a funny soundbite when you donate, then please put something into the super chat, okay? Have your message pop up on screen, and all messages, all super chat donations will be read and responded to live right here on air. This is a great way to support the channel and help rejuvenate my brain cells, which I sacrifice many times for your disgusting sick pleasure. So if you want to help me out a little bit, put something in the super chat, make Soros proud, or you can do !donate on YouTube or Twitch chat and send a donation via PayPal. Attach a message to your PayPal donation. Those messages will be read and responded to live as well on air. This is, again, a great way to support the channel, and all donations are greatly appreciated. If you don't want to donate, that's totally fine. Click the thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube. Click the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And click that follow button if you're watching on Twitch, okay? I appreciate Hunter's level-headed response to this. Yeah, Sylvester Savage, if you might want to get on, buddy. I think that you'll be a little surprised if we actually like talk. There's a lot of people that have this impression of me that I'm like this raging soy liberal, and then we talk and they're like, "Oh, well, you were a lot more chill than I thought," kind of thing. Hello? Are you going to be respecting of the TOS, just no slurs or anything like that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you said you wanted to talk about trans stuff. We can talk about it briefly,
Mhm.
but like I'm going to be covering it with Matt Walsh and stuff, and also people in chat are saying they're kind of sick of the subject. So,
Okay, yeah, I could keep it brief.
okay. So what's up? What do you disagree with me on?
Yeah, so I'm actually a Matt Walsh viewer, and I also view your channel.
Okay. Well, I'm
Um,
sorry to hear for your brain cells lost for being the Walsh viewer, but I'm glad to hear that you are also a viewer of mine, balancing it out a
yeah,
little bit.
I like to get a balance of both political, both sides of the political spectrum.
Hmm.
I also watch Destiny. I'm not sure if you know the leftist streamer Destiny.
Yeah, I'm quite
Anyways,
familiar with Destiny, of course.
okay, yeah. So to the point though. Yeah, so I basically had an issue with just your definition of woman.
Okay.
And the reason why I watch Matt Walsh is because I think he does a good job of explaining why like the transgendered the transgender ideology doesn't really like I guess logically follow because like his question of what is a woman I just sort of think breaks down the whole ideology and is why I just have never really supported um transitioning really because I don't see it as like a way to fix people's problems because it's
Right.
just something that they can't attain.
Sure. Well, I think that
But
it's more so like what.
mhm.
Okay, so you say you have a problem with my definition of a woman. What do you
Yeah,
feel
could you
is
give it
a
one more,
problem?
could you give it one more time just so I make sure that it's the
Yeah, I
that I
usually
have
say
the
that
right thing in mind?
I say a woman is somebody whose internal perception aligns with what we culturally view as being feminine.
Right, whose eternal perception aligns with what we culturally view. So would it essentially be someone with a feminine personality?
Well, no, because at the end of the day, it's about what they internally identify themselves as. But in order to even identify
Right.
yourself as a woman and have like a conceptual idea of that identity, you first have to be aware of certain external constructs of gender.
Uh-huh.
So, like, the way that I usually do it, the best example I give is usually of sports, and of course, the caveat being that like you can decide whether or not you're a sports fan, whereas gender is something that seems to be much more like intrinsic. I do think that you kind of grow into your gender based on external things, but I don't think that it's as cut and dry as like I like this football team, so now I'm a fan. You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously a lot more at play, more fundamental forms of identity when we're talking about gender. But the best example I give still is the idea of sports. So like the rules of
Mhm.
football, the game of football is externally, or excuse me, socially constructed. There is no football game that exists in nature, right? Like we as humans created this game. And now that that
Right.
external social construct exists, I am now able to identify as a football fan. I wouldn't be able to be a football fan if football didn't first exist.
Well, I guess where I disagree though is that I don't view gender as socially constructed. I view femininity and masculinity as socially constructed. So, like, being a woman to me just means that you're an adult human female, and being wearing a dress is you being feminine, which is the socially constructed part.
Right, but you wouldn't be wearing that dress and asking to be referred to as a woman if you didn't first have an internal perception of yourself that you more so align with certain views of femininity. So like that's why when people say like, so you think that being a woman is just a caricature or a stereotype? You think that just putting on a dress makes you a woman? No, not at all. I think that if you identify as a woman, you're probably going to take steps to externally communicate that fact.
So, is it just a self ID thing then?
As far as gender, yes, but again, it's a
He also
self-identification.
noted that I am
And
an ape and I should go
sorry,
F myself.
thank you for the donation. And Matt Walsh's voice jumped in there and scared the shit out of me. Sorry. But it's not just that you can identify as like whatever you want, right? Like again, it's an internal perception of oneself in relation to the construct of gender. So this is why when people say like, well, why can't I just identify as an attack helicopter? Because attack helicopter is not a gender. It's not a socially constructed form of identity. Just like the value we place on money is socially constructed, I cannot then identify as a millionaire and actually be a millionaire. Like there are boundaries and rules with how we define things, right? So yeah, I'm probably being a little long-winded there. Sorry.
I guess I'm just still confused because I just don't see womanhood as being socially constructed, because woman just means, well, from my definition of what a woman is, it's just adult human female.
But
And the
like
only
this is the
reason
thing
why
I always bring this up whenever people use that definition, which is that like
uh-huh.
that's fine. And I also agree that most people communicating external socially constructed forms of femininity also probably do have the biology in line with female. The thing that I have a problem with is that you don't actually know that. Like you actually, because based on your definition, then you never know who is a woman unless you've seen them naked. So
Well,
like,
that's not true.
well, how do you know somebody's a woman if you walk into the grocery store and you see somebody and you identify them as a woman?
Well, it's not just their vagina though. You could also tell by their bone structure, their facial structure,
I mean, maybe,
their
but like then, but there's also trans people that get like facial
their
feminization
body type
surgery.
too.
Yeah, sometimes you're right that there are
Oh
secondary
yeah, yeah, yeah,
biological
yeah, yeah.
characteristics that are definitely correlated with certain gendered expectations. But the thing that's important to remember is that correlation is what is socially constructed. We as humans said, hey, if a child is born with a vagina, we are going to put them into a pink bedroom and we are going to give
Right,
them dresses to wear and dolls to take care of.
right,
Like that is a view of femininity, but that's something we have socially constructed.
right. I agree that the femininity part is socially constructed, and I guess,
But the
how would
femininity
you
is
respond
the
to?
gender. So that like the gender is that's why it's so important for you to recognize the separation between gender and sex. There literally is a separation.
Well, why is the femininity the gender?
What do you mean?
Like you said that femininity femininity is gender.
Well, like how you present yourself and identify yourself in relation to masculinity, femininity, maybe like a mix of both or whatnot. Yes, that's like how you would identify with certain forms of gender.
So, what would you say about this? What would you say about a man who was gay and flamboyant and feminine, but he still like identified with
As a man.
being a man? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, then that would still completely work with my definition, right? So, like, it's not even behavior, it's an internal perception. So, this is why if somebody identifies themselves as a woman, like my wife, and she can go outside and start screaming in a deep voice about how she likes big pickup trucks or something manly, right? Like, that doesn't make her a man. It's not the behavior that holds the weight,
Right.
it's the internal perception. So, if you're talking about a man who is gay, who is flamboyant, he might display certain behaviors that are correlated with femininity more so, but the fact that he
Right.
is gay and recognizes himself as still being a man attracted to other men means that there is still some fundamental part of his identity that is in relation to the construct of masculinity or femininity. Because in order to even view yourself as a man, that concept exists as a result of humans' interaction.
Okay, but I guess I'm having trouble seeing how your definition is any different from like self ID and just, the circular definition of a woman is just anyone who considers themselves to be a woman.
Well, I mean,
Like I'm still
it can be
confused about.
melted down that way, but like, well, okay, if a woman is a woman and a woman is a woman, like, okay, then what is a woman? A woman needs to refer to something outside of just being a woman, which is
Right.
why if you identify yourself as a woman, it's because your internal perception is going to be more so in line with cultural views of femininity.
Mhm.
Internal perception, because people will be like, well, what if there's like a butch lesbian? Is she now a man? No, because she still views herself as a woman. And even more so, say we have like flamboyant gay people, like you brought up, gay men, right? Like
Mhm.
that is almost now part of the construct of masculinity because we recognize men as still being men, even if they are flamboyant. So
Right.
even the flamboyant behavior that a lot of gay men will exhibit can still be on that spectrum of masculinity. Just like a butch lesbian, we still see her ultimately as some form of feminine because she's a lesbian.
Well, I would say that the reason why we still view them as men and women is because they still have the biological makeup of men and women, regardless of how they act. Like, do you think that there's
Maybe.
any social character? Like, do you think there's any social requirement to like being a woman or a man?
Social requirement. I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah, like if somebody wants to consider themselves a woman, do they have to meet any social requirement?
To consider themselves a woman?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but if they want to
No.
be respected or viewed as a woman, they're probably going to need to make some social changes or whatnot, because you can't just walk into a room dressed as a burly man and demand that everybody just view you and instantly use like she her pronouns, because that's just not how language in the world works at the moment, right? Like, so it's more so,
Right.
yeah. So if somebody could be a
But
burly
don't you think?
looking dude, but still identify as a woman, and that's fine. But they cannot really, in all fairness, expect people to recognize them as a woman unless they're doing something, taking some form of steps to communicate that fact externally.
Don't you think that this whole transgender ideology kind of promotes those traditional gender roles, though, that you have to present a certain way to be seen as a woman or a man?
I don't think that it like reinforces them. I think that it conforms to some of these stereotypes, because right now, again, because gender is socially constructed, we have a relative or we have a collective view of what it means to be feminine. So, because of that already being established, if you yourself wish to be referred to as feminine, yes, you're probably going to want to fit certain stereotypes, even if you will, in order to be recognized as that thing. You could make the same type
Hmm.
of argument with, like, I don't know if you've heard my arguments about religion, but I have brought it up in religion too. Like, at the end of the day, um, a Christian is someone whose internal belief system aligns with, I guess, views that like Jesus Christ is God, that God rose him from the dead, whatnot. You can be a Christian
Right.
and never do anything to communicate that fact. You could walk into a busy store and nobody's going to look at you and just know you're a Christian. And it wouldn't be fair for you to get mad at people for not just instantly knowing you're a Christian. But if you walk in wearing a big shirt that says, like, Jesus saves, come to my church or something, then now you're externally communicating that fact. It doesn't mean that if you're not wearing
Right.
that shirt that you're not a
He
Christian.
also noted that I am an
But
ape
it does
and I
mean
should
that
go
if you're
F
not wearing
myself.
that shirt, it's not really fair for you to expect people to just look at you and read your mind and know that you're a Christian. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
well, I still have a problem with that because the difference between being a Christian internally and not practicing it and being like, say, a woman is that even if you don't do any of the things we consider traditionally feminine,
Hmm.
you still will ultimately just physically look like a woman. Like even if a woman had short hair, was dressed like a man, and I guess presented masculine, um, you would still be able to tell that's a woman just by the physical reality of them
Well, yeah,
being
that,
a
and
female.
if you're talking about biological side of things, then you're most likely referring to sex. So, like, you can have a trans man who might identify as a man as far as the gender goes. However, they will
Hmm.
be biologically female. Like, and that is something that I myself have never even denied. I'm the first person to tell you, yeah, of course, there's a difference between cis women and trans women. Trans women usually have biology that does not align with their sense of self. So, like, you're right that there are some biological characteristics that are very unlikely to change unless you really go all the way with like the surgery, the transition, everything, right? Um
Hmm.
but those are just sexual characteristics. It's us as a collective society that looks at that and says, okay, so you're a woman. And then what does it mean to be a woman? Well, now woman in our society comes with certain roles and expectations as well, right? Well, if you're a woman, then maybe you're supposed to be a little bit more quiet and agreeable. this kind of thing actually hurts women everywhere now when they're trying to apply for jobs, right? So like it's sort of a vicious cycle of
Right.
us arbitrarily applying certain expectations and roles on people based on their biology. So I'm not
Don't you
denying
think
that
that it's
gender is correlated to biology. What I am saying though
Mhm.
is that we are the ones who have correlated gender with biology, and it doesn't need to be that way.
I think in a way it kind of does. Like they do kind of correlate because as you said with the we tell women that they need to be quiet and agreeable. I would say that there's definitely a strong social aspect to that where women feel like they need to be quiet and agreeable because that's what makes them feminine. But I also think it's kind of natural in a way for women to be more submissive and for men to be more dominant.
Yeah, it's not though. I don't know. I mean, even if it were quote
Not
unquote
even a little bit. I think
I don't know.
it's
I
a
mean,
little
when
bit
you
of
say
both.
it's natural, I feel like you would see that behavior pretty clearly in the animal kingdom as well, which we don't. We actually literally see the opposite, where there are plenty of species where it's the female that's the dominant one.
Hmm.
So like,
But
do humans have
aren't
a natural I don't know, but like
mhm.
I can tell you for sure that there are plenty of social expectations that we might even think of as being a biological thing that's actually not. So like you probably hear me talk a lot about the expectation that if you're a man you shouldn't cry or be too emotional. Like it is a biological fact that men on average have just as many emotions as women, or I should say males on average have just as many emotions as females, but it's only the
Right.
males who are expected to keep those emotions hidden for the sake of
Yeah.
adhering to a social role. So,
Right.
whether or not women are naturally submissive or naturally caregivers or whatever, I don't even have a problem with that. Maybe you're right. But again, the problem is because women on average are naturally this way, you are a woman, so you must be this way. That's the problem I have.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Of course, people gotta acknowledge that there can be exceptions to the rule. And even though I think that women on average are more likely to be agreeable, just I guess innately, I think that of course there are exceptions where there are women that are hyper dominant,
And I don't think that
and
it's fair to even say
and
innately because that's ignoring the entire upbringing of that girl, right? So, like, if you're born into an environment where it's
mhm,
already an established role that as women you need to be more submissive and agreeable, it's not surprising that we
right.
see a lot of girls growing up to being more agreeable and submissive.
Well, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying is that there's definitely a strong social component. I just think it's a combination of both, though. Like I think it's more so socially, but I think that there is a degree of um I guess biological difference between
Yeah, but I don't really
males and the
Okay,
females.
well, hold on. There's obviously biological differences between males and females. Like, that's
Yeah, yeah,
irrefutable, of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when you're
But I
talking
was
about
saying in
some of
a
these
social,
expectations that we expect men or women
right.
to adhere to, being innate
Hmm.
or biological, um, part of me is I almost don't even care because again, we can't change biology. So if somebody is naturally more likely to be like submissive or agreeable, cool, go for it. More power to you.
Yeah,
Again, it's
but
the
don't you
problem
think
with
it's
the
important to acknowledge
expectation.
it though?
N- Excuse me?
But don't you think it's important to like acknowledge? But when you say you don't care, do you mean like you don't care in the sense that we can't do anything about it, or you mean you don't care to like I guess find out if that's the case?
No, I'm saying that I'm for the sake of argument, I mean, obviously I would want to look into it more so because there's a lot of evidence contradicting the claim that say like women are innately good caregivers. But if you're going to say more
Okay, right,
submissive or whatnot, like sure, for the sake of argument, especially, I will concede that yes, there are absolutely some gendered expectations that are originally rooted in some form of biology, like the idea
right,
that men should be stronger. Well, for a long time, and
right,
still to this day, males are on average much stronger than females. So it makes sense that
right,
that expectation is there. But again, if you're not strong, it doesn't mean that you're not a man. And
right,
so it's more the enforcing of these certain roles in order to be like a good man or a good woman that I have a problem with. Some of it, I'm not saying I don't care as in I don't care to engage. I know that there's biological components. Every human being's behavior is some combination of biology and socialization and whatnot. But I'm just saying that if biology cannot be really changed, but we can change certain social expectations, then that's what we should really be focusing our energy on.
okay, yeah, I see, I understand now.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that.
Sure.
Um,
And yeah, I know it's a little bit confusing and I apologize. I can be kind of long-winded and I try to explain it as best I can because I remember when I was first learning about this and I was right in your camp, just super confused. Like, then I felt like I would start to get it and then I would like lose it again. I'm like, wait, no, that doesn't actually make sense.
Mhm.
And it's sort of like this back and forth thing. And then I don't even remember how or when it like finally clicked for me, but like keep on, seeking out answers and seeking out truth. And
Right.
I think that you'll get there. And, make sure if you're looking for truth, you're not watching Matt Walsh.
I mean, I'll continue to watch Matt Walsh. I think he makes good points. I think it's important to have that balance. I like watching the Daily Wire. I like watching
I feel you.
You and Destiny.
I mean, hey, I watch a
Um,
lot of stuff I don't agree with just for the stream, so I get it. It can be more fun to watch something you don't agree with to see like what are they going to say? Is this actually a good argument or not?
well, I actually identify as conservative. Um, so I tend to agree with the Daily Wire and Matt Walsh a little more.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I like your content as well because I see you make some pretty good logical points, and you also seem to be arguing in good faith. So
Man,
that's
I
what I like
appreciate
about
that.
your content.
Thanks very much.
Um, I did have one more, I guess, question. So do you ever think that trans people will be like accepted for do you ever feel like trans people will be fully affirmed? Like trans women will ever be seen as like fully realized as women, I guess.
Um, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously, I would hope
In our
so.
society.
Yeah, I
In
think
like
that
laws and
probably
stuff.
I
Yeah.
think that eventually, if we keep on moving in the proper direction, we that's not impossible because I mean,
Mhm.
Two Spirit is not a great example. You'll hear people bring that up as like an example of a third gender, but that's at least what pops into my head when I think about previous societies that have just sort of like it's part of the norm, right? To accept more than two genders, for example. And I think that we're already moving that direction a little bit when it comes to like non-binary. So like non-binary people usually don't identify with the masculinity side of things or the femininity side of things. Usually, at least the way I've seen it explained, is
Right.
like it's more in the middle of that overall spectrum. And in my opinion, like non-binary is becoming more and more normalized, and that's sort of like a third gender. Chat gives me a shit about that, so maybe I'm wrong, but like I do think that yes,
Kind of a genderless gender.
it's quite possible to normalize other forms of identification in relation to gender. Yeah.
Okay, and I asked my coworker this because he's a lot more liberal than I am. Um, he he believes that transgendered women are women, but I asked him one day if he'd ever date a trans woman, and he said no, and he considers that I guess trans like he considers that internalized transphobia that he wouldn't date a trans woman. And back when I was a liberal, I disagreed with him on that. I didn't see it as transphobic, but now that I'm more conservative minded, I kind of recognize it as being a little um, hypocritical, I guess,
I don't
or
see it as being hypocritical at all. I mean, we talk all the time, especially the like lefties will
to
talk all
not
the
want
time.
to date a transgendered woman if you're a cis heterosexual male.
Yeah, no, I don't see that as hypocritical at all. It's okay to have like genital
Mm.
preferences. You can view that person as a woman, but not be attracted to the
Well,
fact that
what
they
if
have a
they have bottom
penis.
surgery?
I mean, if they have bottom surgery and there's literally no difference, then if you're only rejecting them purely because you found out at one time they were biologically male and now they have full surgery and you couldn't even tell, then maybe that would be transphobic. But let's be real, in most cases,
Mhm.
especially considering the fact that most trans people don't go on to get bottom surgery, I don't see
Really?
anything.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's actually pretty infrequent. I
Wow.
don't think that's hypocritical at all because like on the left we talk a lot about sexuality also, right? Like if
Okay, right.
you're gay and it's unfair to ask people to change that. If you're a straight guy, you're probably not attracted to penises and that's
Right.
okay.
Okay.
So like
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense
yeah,
because I
like
didn't know that most
you're a
transgender
straight
people.
man. No one should be trying to force you to be otherwise. Like we talk about how shitty conversion therapy is, right? For gay people. You
Right.
shouldn't be trying to convert people's sexuality. If at the end of the day, if you're going out with somebody and then you find out that they're trans and they have a penis, it's okay to not be interested. Like I don't see that as being
Right.
hypocritical any more so than if you're
Okay.
like going out with a straight woman and then maybe she just it doesn't have like the body type that you're particularly attracted to. Like that doesn't mean you're not straight all of a sudden.
Mhm. Okay, I actually didn't know that most transgendered people don't get the bottom surgery. So that's why I kind of viewed it as being, I guess, a little inconsistent.
Hmm.
Because I don't know, to me it kind of logically followed that if you're a trans woman you get bottom surgery, because I would think you'd get a lot of gender dysmorphia from like being, presented up top as like a woman and then having a penis, so
Yeah, and
so I
I mean,
actually
you're
didn't know that.
definitely
You learned
right that
something
there
every day.
are right, and there are some people like that who definitely feel uncomfortable, but there's you also have to look at the reasons why they haven't gotten the surgery. Not all of them are like, "Oh, I'm just totally fine having a penis." Some of them want the surgery but just can't afford it, right? So like there's other
Right, right.
external issues there too. But yeah, at the end of the day, like straight men having a preference that they are not really into penises or doing anal sex with a trans woman is like, yeah, I get it, man. It's no worries, okay? Like that you're not
Right.
transphobic for that any more than I don't know. When I hear people make those types of arguments, it's like those are the worst types of arguments that push people away because it also sounds hypocritical because it's like, wait, you people talk all the time about a rape culture and now you're saying I'm bad because I don't want to have sex with somebody? What? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's very contradictory for anybody to try to make that argument. So I don't think that's
Okay.
internalized transphobia. I think that that's just a guy who's a straight guy who's not really into a penis, and that's okay at the end of the day. Now, if you're going
Okay,
like,
thank
I
you.
would never
Now,
date a disgusting like really shitting on trans people, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
then that would probably be transphobic in the sense that it's okay to have preferences, but you don't need to be like a dick about it.
Okay, thank you. Now I could relieve my liberal friend of his of his white cis male guilt.
You're free, my friend. His white guilt. Oh God, don't start that, please.
uh,
Tell him to give that up, okay? Anyone with white guilt needs to get their head out of their ass.
yeah, I mean, I kind of low key pushed him out of that a bit as a black conservative.
Yeah.
But anyways, I have one more question though. And then we could wrap this up. I'm sorry if your audience is tired of all the trans talk, but
No, it's
I
okay.
find it
This
to
it's
be
a
a
good
really
faith combo,
important.
so it's a little more interesting than if it was just like, you saying cringe, me responding, vice versa.
Oh yeah, those last debates you had in your last stream. I was trying to get in last time, but and I remember you were debating this one guy who's a predator or no, he's into
Oh, the pedo
pedophilia.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild one. But anyways, yeah, my last question was I guess what do you consider the difference between being transgendered and being transracial?
I think that oh, there's a big difference. I mean, gender based on the way in which, I've described it to you is contingent on an internal perception of you have of yourself. Race is not purely defined by an internal perception. It's true that you can identify with certain cultural norms of some ethnic groups, but I don't
Hmm.
know how you would have an internal perception. Well, one, if you had an internal perception of yourself that you're actually black, that doesn't make you black because we look at who's black and who's not based on literally the color of their skin. You don't get to just like identify yourself as not being black. And this is, by the way, the same as if a trans woman tried to say, I identify as a woman, which means now that I don't have a penis, my penis is actually a vagina. You'd be like, no, you don't get to just like identify away your biology. Like, no, trans people are aware
Right.
that their biology differs. So if you're saying that you identify a certain way with a certain racial group, that does not make you that race because that is not the only thing that holds the weight there. Whereas for gender, it's far more about the internal perception. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Um, there was a problem I had in there, but I don't want to go back to the whole "what is a woman" thing because I know for now we still aren't on the same page with that, but that's fine. Um,
Well,
Thanks for this
hopefully that's a little
conversation,
bit of
though,
a better
man.
argument than you've heard. I mean, I will acknowledge that the transracialism question used to kind of get me a little stumped. But then once I actually like
Mhm.
took some time, not on stream to look it up and read about it, it became very apparent very quickly that like, okay, race is not just an identity. Just like I could,
Right.
okay, so like if I am a construction worker, right? I don't become a construction worker because I say I'm a construction worker. I'm a construction worker if that is actually my career or my job or whatever.
Mhm.
So just if you can identify with certain things doesn't mean that the identity is the thing that holds all the weight. Whereas for gender, it's unique in the sense that it does hold the weight. But if I say, I'm a construction worker. Now, if I'm actually a construction worker and then tell you I identify as a construction worker, I would be correct. But me just saying I'm a construction worker doesn't make me a construction worker any more than me saying I'm black makes me black.
Right. Um. Okay. Well,
People are asking, how do I
once again,
define internal perception? I mean, the way that you view yourself internally. Like, I have an internal perception of myself as a man, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a streamer. People have multiple internal senses of self and identities, but not every internal identity is a gender identity.
mhm. Well, thanks again, man, for having me on.
Sure.
Thank you so much for the conversation. Uh, it's the whole. I know you upload clips and stuff, but it's the whole live stream like recorded and stays on. Does it stay on YouTube? Because
Yeah.
I would like to like review the conversation and stuff
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
that
Go to if you go into my channel, the front page of the channel, scroll
Mhm.
down to like the very bottom, and you'll see there's a whole playlist called Stream VODs, and that's where
Oh, okay.
they're all unlisted, so they're only able to be viewed on that playlist, but the playlist itself is publicly accessible.
Okay, that's perfect.
So yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
sure thing. Have a good rest of your day.
Have a good one, man.
See ya. Cool. Hey, Ralph Forrest, thanks for the $2. Tomorrow, it's my 18th birthday. Well, happy birthday, my friend. Oompa Dearest, thank you for the $2. Define female without excluding any cis women, please. Yeah, it's pretty difficult to do that. It's pretty difficult because if you say like, well, it's chromosomes. Do you know how many people are females as far as like they have a vagina and they look like women to you, but yet have male chromosomes? It's way more common than you'd think. I have a bit of a tough. I appreciate everybody saying it was a good combo. I definitely try, but it can be tough, especially when I'm like, okay, I understand this really well now, but like, how do I articulate it in a way that I think is going to be the most convincing? Okay. Let us begin our segment. Can I have a quick chat with you? No. I will take debates from people who are like, I want a sincerely and heated disagreement with you kind of thing. I will accept those debates. All right. I'll accept more debates later on, but for now we're going to get into a segment. And if anybody wants to donate and support the channel while I am in the middle of a segment, please do so, okay? Because I will stop what I'm doing and read your donation. Thank you, Charlie Spur, by the way, for the $5 PayPal donation. I know that you say you still can't donate. I have looked for your name in the list of banned people, and I cannot find your name. So I'm very confused how to unban you. And I again feel really bad because it was a bit of an accident. Okay. All right. So it's another day, which means another person has left the left. Now, a couple months ago, I went over a video by this girl, Misha Petrov or something, and she made her video on why she left the left. Now, granted, that video was incredibly dumb, and she actually acknowledged that she was never even on the left. She was just going along with it because that's what her friends were doing. But then she had like her whole big video about how the woke liberals made me turn to the right, ooh, boo, all that kind of nonsense, right? But I got a lot of heat for that segment specifically because I was very rude to the person I was reacting to, because it's tough for me to keep a when I'm dealing with people that I find to be incredibly fucking stupid. Now, I have not watched this person's video yet, but I will say, the reason I got the backlash is because people were saying and pointing out, Hunter, you left the right. So why are you being so, quote unquote, uncharitable to the people that are leaving the left? Maybe you, of all people, can understand, right? And I do understand the pressure and difficulty of leaving a certain political side, but when you come on here and start spieling off the most shallow BS, you know, oh, I saw Trigglypuff and now fascism is actually cool. Like, if you come up there like that, I'm going to clown on you. Because for me, when I talked about me leaving the right, the video is way too long-winded. I'm probably going to make a recap, actually, in a little while. But when I talked about me leaving the right, like, I gave examples. I gave explanations as to, like, the right is really called conservative because they are about conserving tradition. And the reason I disagree with that kind of an idea is because conserving tradition comes at the expense of other people's rights, like gay people's right to get married, for example. So there is a clear-cut reason why I'm leaving the right. That makes sense. If you just say, like, granted, if I got on and I was like, guys, you know that the right wing was really mean to me, and I saw that a lot of them were being racist, so now I'm going left. That would be equally worthy of mockery, okay? Because that would be a dipshit reason to leave a political side. But if it's actually this political side seems to hold this belief, and I disagree with that belief, which is why I don't align anymore with this side of things, that's a better explanation. Matt Walsh would destroy this clown? Well, I know maybe in his dreams, he already tried to destroy me once, and look how that turned out. Absolute backfire, buddy boy. But cute cope. Maybe if you suck his dick a little longer, he'll, I don't know, finally tell you what a woman is or where you can get one for yourself. Anywho, this is a video called Leaving the Left and Woke Culture.
Within 1 year, I went from...
yeah, anyway, I came across this video not too long ago. And it looked incredibly interesting. 6 days ago, 458,000 views, so quite a lot of views there. And this is a guy named Emmer Odom? I guess is he identifying himself as a black conservative now? I'm not sure. Either way, we'll go through why he left the left. Let us begin.
Within 1 year, I went from marching with Black Lives Matter to meeting President Trump.
Whoa.
Throughout that year, I asked myself some key questions that you might be asking yourself too. Why are we saying that we embrace love, equality, and acceptance, but I'm scared to express my opinion with my friends? Why are we...
Oh no. We are already at the most brain-dead arguments. Oh no. No! You say you're tolerant? Well, then why are you not being tolerant of me saying that black people should still be slaves? Curious! Listen, I agree that there are definitely some hypocrites on the left, right, who are like, I'm tolerant and loving, and then you say you disagree with them, and then they go into like a massive fit and start spewing a bunch of slurs at you. I get it. There are absolutely hypocrites like that on the left. Most of the time, though, this is, why are you not being tolerant towards my dipshit ideas? Because they don't understand that if you are overly tolerant, even tolerant of intolerant views, then that will ultimately lead to intolerance. If we are being so tolerant that we tolerate the Nazis, who keep talking about how they are intolerant of the degeneracy and the trans people and the Jews or something, well, if we keep on being tolerant, eventually those people will gain more and more of a voice, potentially more and more power, and if they get in a position of power, well, guess what? No more tolerance, okay? Because Nazis are not tolerant. They are intolerant. So by tolerating intolerance, you are leading to an ultimate form of intolerance. This is called the paradox of the tolerance paradox. It's honestly been kind of like explained to death at this point. But 14 seconds in, already one of the most like stupid, shallow arguments. Okay, I'm gonna be nice though, because I want to talk to this guy. Like, hey, Emir Adam, if you're here, please, let's talk, man. I would be more than happy to chat. I won't be mean. I will be a friendly little lad.
Saying that the right is racist and divisive when I'm saying no better for ourselves? Why are we saying that
Wait, what? Why are we saying that the right is racist, but I'm seeing no better from ourselves? You realize that two wrongs don't make a right, you know? Did you ever hear that one from your mommy? Guys, you know the right wing is supposed to be racist? Well, there's also a lot of racism on the left. So I'm going to be a racist right winger. Like, what? Huh?
Why are we saying that the right is racist and divisive when I'm saying no better from ourselves? Why are we saying that we stand for the truth, but we'll try and shut down anyone who offers up an alternative viewpoint? My name's Amir, and
I mean, again, like, I will concede that, like, there is obviously hypocrisy on the left. Sure. But I mean, my God, dude. Comparing the right to Nazis is a wild argument. Oh, my friend. Somebody doesn't know their political history very well.
saying that we stand for the truth, but we'll try and shut down.
Yeah, so again, I will concede that there are plenty of lefty types who have shitbag arguments and would, instead of arguing with people, try and just shut them out or say that they shouldn't engage with them, which ultimately just lets bad ideas fester even more. Or if you try to just silence somebody rather than actually debating them, you oftentimes will isolate them in their dipshittery and embolden their bad beliefs even more so. So yes, I agree that a lot of people on the left are dumb when it comes to this. But again, this doesn't just translate to like, because the left has issues, therefore I'm joining the right.
Anyone who offers up an alternative viewpoint. My name's Amir, and this is my story on how I went from the left, the right, and everywhere in between. Why do so many people hate me? I asked myself this a lot growing up. I was taught that being black was going to make my life way harder than it needed to be, and I was going to have to work harder than a lot of the...
Oh no, I can already see where this is going. Well, I was black, and I was always respectful to the police. How come I'm still alive? Checkmate, libtard.
That being black was going to make my life way harder than it needed to be, and I was going to have to work harder than a lot of the white kids out there just because of the color of my skin. Not only that, but I was also taught that being gay is bad, and when I realized I was gay in 5th and 6th grade, I was like, oh crap, well I'm going to lock this away and put this in the closet, which... that'll be a video coming soon outlining my coming out story. But that was just like, okay, now there's 2 check marks on me. Being black and gay and being told that both of these things were going to be oppressing me throughout my life set the foundation for a lot of my beliefs and my traumas as well. It created this victimhood mindset in me that festered through from elementary school all the way up to college. I thought...
So maybe this was a bad way that you were taught. Maybe this is more a testament to the education you received on these issues being really lame. Maybe this is not so much a testament that like systemic racism isn't real or that black people on average face unique struggles due to the fact they're black, whereas white people oftentimes wouldn't. Like, you can agree with that and also agree that like, if you sit a little black kid down and you're like, you know you're black, you're going to be oppressed your whole life. Oh my God, I really hope that you're ready to do nothing but suffer this entire fucking abysmal existence. And yeah, like, that's a bad thing to say. That doesn't really follow. But like, the actual argument that black people face unique challenges due to the fact that they are black, due to historical racist policies that might have been done away with on paper, but are still leading to harmful outcomes, that is disproportionately negatively impacting black people. So you can agree with that and also agree that like, yelling at a little kid and telling him how he's going to be oppressed all his life is also a bad idea.
The worst at all times, and I knew that this is not a life I wanted to live, but I also knew that it had to be the change I wished to see. I couldn't just give up, so I became more politically active. Why are we blaming white people for everything? I attended my first...
That's something that happened to me, actually. It was weird. I went from like being pretty chill with Trump and everything, and then every time it's like I stub my toe. Ow! Oh! Fuck! Damn whites! God damn mayonnaise! Fuck! Ugh! Accidentally like close the car door on your finger. Fuck white people! Holy instead of saying like Jesus Christ, cis white male! Oh fuck! Yup. That was actually the first thing to change for me. As soon as I acknowledged I was a liberal soy boy, I started blaming white people for everything. It was really, really crazy.
So I became more politically active. Why are we blaming white people for everything? I attended my first major Black Lives Matter rally, and while it felt really cool being a part of something, I noticed that not all the issues were being talked about. They weren't mentioning black fathers in the home.
More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock.
Holy shit. So I will give him credit again because the left is dog shit at making these arguments. However, if we're really going to go, why are we not talking about fathers in the home? One, you're at a protest. I don't know how a political body, how can the government, how can the institution of government implement a policy that's like, this is going to make dads be with their families more? That is much more of an issue you solve with the family, interpersonally. That's not something that you can enact necessarily via policy. But it's also true that you can get rid of certain policies that are leading to higher rates of fatherlessness in the Black community. So this is why people talk about the drug war, for example. This is why people talk about that. Because Black people were disproportionately targeted during the drug war, that led to more Black men being locked up as compared to their white counterparts, which means those Black men getting locked up, a lot of those people are fathers. Now, not everybody, not every father is getting locked up and desperate to take care of his family. There are some people that are just dumb fucks, assholes, and they get somebody pregnant and they dip, okay? That is oftentimes because of, again, bad or lack of opportunity. If you don't have good access to opportunity where you feel that you can adequately support a family, that can really negatively impact your self-esteem and your confidence in supporting a family, so much so that you might just dip. There are a lot of ways that current systemic racist policies are contributing to Black fatherlessness. So let's get rid of the drug war. There's a legitimate policy that can be changed. Let's start beefing up opportunities in these marginalized communities. Let's make it so that these schools get better funding, so that people get better education. The more educated somebody is, the more steady job they work, the less likely they are to get somebody pregnant and then just leave. We can change this by acknowledging systemic racism, by just agreeing with BLM to the point of, yeah, systemic racism is a real thing and it's a problem. That's the first step to helping the Black fatherlessness issue.
Mentioning Black on Black crime.
Got Black people killing each other.
Dude, no way. Somebody in chat just called it. Why do they never mention Black on Black crime?
Born out of wedlock.
They were mentioning Black on Black crime.
Got Black people killing each other every day, actually outnumbering the deaths of the police versus...
Wait, yes, of course. What? Yeah, you know that Black people kill other Black people at a higher rate than Black people are killed by the police, right? You also realize this is a stupid fuck comparison because there's a massive difference between, say, like gang-related violence and getting killed before you've been given a trial by the state. Do I need to put this in like baby talk for these people to understand? Gaga goo goo. Okay, if your friend hits you, that's bad. But if your dad comes up and hits you, that's even worse. Because they have authority over you and they're like abusing you with that authority. How is it like, is that better? Is that easier for you? Yes, there is a high rate of Black on Black crime. Gee, is there anything that contributes to crime that might be disproportionate in Black areas? Lack of education? That's a big one. What about poverty? I'm pretty sure there's a massive disproportionate rate of poverty in the Black community. Well, it is literally a sociological and criminologist fact that if you are living in poverty, you're more likely to engage in criminal activity, not even because you're poor, so you're just going to like become a bad person, but out of pure desperation. And even more so, a lot of this violence is also gang related. Well, why would a culture, why would a culture that has historically been incredibly hostile towards police, and police haven't been incredibly hostile towards them, why would they now have a norm within some of these communities to look up to gangs rather than the police? Why would gangs form in a place that is disproportionately poor, has access disproportionately to drugs, and has a disproportionate negative relationship with the police? Why would that lead to gangs? It's so goddamn annoying. These are such boring conversations. What are you going to do to fix black crime? You're going to like get Joe Biden up there? Listen, everybody. Listen. Stop doing it. It's mean. If you take a gun and make it go boom boom while pointing it at somebody, don't do it. I'm Joe Biden. Drops into like a dementia-ridden coma. I don't know. But seriously, how are you going to stop black How are you going to stop black on black crime? How? You have to fix the issues that are contributing to the crime. Crime is a symptom. It is not necessarily the firsthand problem. So by fixing the poverty, investing in these areas, making it so that there's better education, more opportunity, then you will see a reduction in crime. This is why when white Italians first arrived in this country, they had high rates of crime because they lived in poverty. But the minute they got out of that poverty, the crime rate went down.
Urban people.
It was just a giant we hate the cops and we hate white people party, and I'm not a part of that crew. I'm here to make change. I'm here to bridge people together, not to just complain in the streets and then do nothing about it. So I already left.
Wait, you're complaining right now about black on black crime and saying you'd rather be out on this, you want to do something about it. Again, what are you doing by bringing up black on black crime, which is what every single black conservative brings up like 9 million times?
Left that rally with the bad taste in my tongue. I just did not like the vibe of that at all. But I still went back to college, and
please no. I know we're only 2 minutes in. It's a 50-minute long video. I'm not going to jump to conclusions here, but thus far he is making the left was mean to me, so I'm not part of the left anymore. It had bad vibes. Do you know how many left-leaning spaces can have bad vibes? Or right-leaning spaces can have bad vibes, whatever the fuck that means. If you're basing your politics on the vibes you got from a group of people, then you are a loser. You're a shallow dimwit who needs help.
I joined my black student union and did a little, the local BLM movements around campus. That was pretty much it. What have I been lied to about? Like any other college student, I was on Tinder and I went on a date with this very nice gentleman. On this date, we were very brutal and honest with each other, and we got on the topic about politics and race relations, and he's white, and he brings up the "it's okay to be white" signs that were popping up all around campus. It was going viral, and we then got into this heated argument because I was telling him how racist and triggering it is for black people because we grow up in this society and we already know that it's okay to be white, but for some reason, because we're black, it's automatically not okay and we're having to live this oppressive life. But that's when he said that's exactly what they want us to think. They're wanting to divide us. They're wanting to stir up this reaction out of you. They're wanting to control your emotions. And it was
the "it's okay to be white" thing was, let's be fair, that was just annoying discourse, because yes, it was started by 4chan as a way to hint at like this underlying hatred of white people. So we're saying it's actually okay to be white. But at the same time, it was done in a way that was purposely making a statement that was otherwise completely agreeable, like it's okay to be white. And then it was leading to like a bunch of lefties saying it was bad, which then was translated to, so you're saying it's not okay to be white? Huh? It was just a very bizarre thing. I really hate that discourse. But the "it's okay to be white" thing, I would never like get triggered by or freak the fuck out about. Also, that's like such a dead meme now too, so it's kind of weird that it's even being brought up.
They're wanting to stir up this reaction out of you. They're wanting to control your emotion. And it was at that moment that I realized that he had a point, because I wasn't in control of my emotions. My entire life I hadn't been. My entire life I viewed myself as a victim. My entire life I saw myself as, yep, because of what Twitter is saying, CNN is saying, MSNBC, being black, I am a victim. Being gay, I'm a victim. I gave age.
It just sounds like you had a really dumb way of being taught these concepts. Like, you're black, you're a victim. You're gay, you're a victim. No, it's that if you are black or if you are gay or both, you're more likely to be a victim of discrimination. But it doesn't mean that you are a victim just because you're black. Like, this has to be, come on, man.
To my entire life and my emotions over to mainstream media. So we end that conversation with him recommending me to just check out all sides of the media.
Here we go. And then I found PragerU, and I thought they were all going to be racist, but surprise, they were actually nice.
He just wanted me to just be aware at least of what the other side is saying and doing, because at the time I hadn't been. At the time when I say like I was on the left, I only took in left-leaning news. I didn't even look at the right, because why should I? Why would I? Growing up, all I was told that the Republicans are racist and the Republicans are homophobic. Well, being black and gay, why would I ever give them the light of day? Never thought about it, never did, but he told me to.
He's actually gonna do the they were nice to me argument. I can tell you. I can tell you, okay? I can feel it. I can feel it in my loins.
I liked the guy, and I was like, you know what? Fine, I am in my feelings. I am all emotional and riled up. I trust you, so I'll take a look at it. And that's exactly what I did. How can I pursue the truth for myself? It was at this point, right after that date, I left the left. And by saying I left the left, I mean that I left this idea that I had to stay over there and not venture out. That I was calling myself a liberal just for the sake of calling myself a liberal. That I was calling myself a Democrat because I was black and I was gay and that I just had to be one. I left all of that. I gave myself the opportunity.
Why do they always do this? Listen. Okay. See, another big difference with my video was that I was part of the right. I was on the fucking right. And then I came out and explained how I left the right and why. Why do people who make these videos always out themselves? Listen, if you're making your big video why you left the left, hoping to get some of that delicious AdSense and a bunch of, seal claps from like brain dead conservatives, then don't admit that you were never actually on the left. Never, you just unironically gave this all away and defeated your own argument. So you left the left, but you just admitted you were never actually on the left. You just went along with it because that's what you were taught. You were not on the left, my dude. This is like somebody being like, why I'm no longer a Christian. Growing up, I was always told that God is real. And so I kind of just thought I had to think that, but now that I got older, I realized that maybe there's other stuff out there to think about, I left Christian. No, you were never really a fucking Christian, dude. Come on.
I was black and I was just for the sake of calling myself a liberal. I mean that I left this idea that I had to stay over there and not venture out. That I was calling myself a liberal just for the sake of calling myself a liberal. That I was calling myself a Democrat because I was black and I was gay and that I just had to be one. I left all of that. I gave myself the opportunity to be open and express myself in different ways and really try out new things. If there's one thing I learned while venturing from the left, the right, and everywhere in between, it's that mainstream media makes it really hard to understand what is true and what is not. That is why over 300,000 Americans get their news from today's sponsor, Upward News. It's a free...
We'll go ahead and skip.
He also noted that I am an ape and I should go F myself.
We'll go ahead and skip the advertisement. How does this happen, by the way? Hey, dude, I'm leaving the left. Instant sponsor. Is this the secret, guys? Do you just do a video called Why I Left the Left and within the next 24 hours, you get a call from the Coke bro? And he's like, yo, dude, I heard the great news, okay? I'm going to give you a couple grand here. Do this sponsor real quick. We'll keep you over here, all right?
Very right-leaning, CNN is very left-leaning, but we all just want the facts at hand. Whereas, daily digest, they do a pretty good job leaning. CNN is very left-leaning, but we want the facts at hand, whereas it can't be censored. They do a pretty good job at staying neutral and just giving you the facts at hand, whereas, Fox is very right-leaning, CNN is very left-leaning, but we all just want the facts at hand. We just want to be given the story, let us read about it, give us the truth, and let us go on about our day. And I found Upward News.
Is my mic cutting out? Why are people saying my mic is cutting out? Wait. Audio cut out there for a sec? Wait, hold on.
Hey, never thought about it, never did.
Nice to me.
Had
Or came out and explained how I...
He also noted that I am an ape and I should go F myself.
I think it's okay. Regenerant sings, hey, thanks for the $5.
He also noted that I am an ape and I should go F myself.
Thank you. Regenerant sings, thanks for the $5 or actually $7 donation. Worst part about this conversation, because I live near a gang war area and both my older and younger sister is a drug victim from their baby daddy. I'm not prepared. Well, I'm very sorry. That sounds like a really, really tough situation to be in, and I wish you the best of luck, my friend. And then you said drug victim. They're both still alive. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Toxic. Thank you for the $2 donation. What is a woman? A woman is someone whose internal perception aligns with what is culturally viewed as being feminine. Try again next time. Checkmate. James Mitchell, thanks for the $5. Hey, Amber, let's discuss right-wing policies versus Democrat policies and see which hurts minorities the most. Nah. Let's just keep talking about how actually the right was nice to me that one time when I conveniently agreed with them.
Given the story, let us read about it, give us the truth, and let us go on about our day. Facts at hand, whereas, Fox commentators and truth seekers 5 minutes to read, and the thing I love about it the most is that it can't be censored. They do a pretty good job at staying neutral and just giving you the facts at hand, whereas, Fox is very right-leaning, CNN is very left-leaning, but we all just want the facts at hand. We just want to be given the story, let us read about it, give us the truth, and let us go on about our day. And I found Upward News to be the most trustworthy at that. And the best part is that you can click the link below to join
I am an ape, and I should go F myself.
This ad is going on too long. Come on.
One of the first videos that he recommended that I watch is a Steven Crowder Changed My Mind series. Absolutely incredible. Started diving deep into other topics and videos, and I stumbled across.
Listen, if your journey from the left begins with I watched a Steven Crowder video, then already I'm holding back the urge to just be incredibly mean to you. I'm trying to be a nice, good, tolerant lefty boy, but man, I really want to call you like a fucking idiot. Because if you watch a Steven Crowder video, and that's enough for you to be like, this video, man, it rocked me. It rocked my world. I have built my house on the sand. My friend, this rocked me to my core. Like, if that is your reaction to a fucking Crowder video, then, maybe you should have just, been apolitical throughout college, and once you feel more educated, then start assessing these things.
Dave Rubin and Larry Elder's video.
Did he say Dave Rubin?
Other topics and videos, and I stumbled across a series. Absolutely incredible. Started diving deep into other topics and videos, and I stumbled across Dave Rubin and Larry Elder's video. It's so crazy because I know both of them now. Their video talking about the black community. And
yeah, good old Dave Rubin, man. That's how you know you're getting the real truth. We talk about all this bias and crap. Man, nobody wants the super left CNN or the super far right Fox News, man. We just want the facts, bro. So that's why I watch Dave Rubin and Steven Crowder.
That was extremely eye-opening at the time. And then there's two people that really shook up my world, and that is Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum.
Oh my god! Guys, I found every fucking stupid person on the internet who's part of the right-wing grift machine, and I was convinced by them. Now I'm on the right. Yes. The right has beckoned me after Brandon Tatum. I have gone over Brandon Tatum's videos. The guy is so goddamn stupid, I don't even know how he's a functioning human being. Candace Owens, a provable liar. At least it's pretty suggestible that she's a fucking grifter. The fact that she accepted $30,000 for a lawsuit where she alleged that she was being bullied on the basis of her race, and nowadays makes the argument that racism is not really a big deal and she's never actually experienced any racism. Why do you bring up people who are proven liars, or at the very least, are more interested in just promoting themselves and their brand than they are about the truth? You can't do a tacky little sponsor ad about how your app is going to show you, or how if you download the app, you'll get the facts without any bias. And then you start bringing up Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens. You're listening to the most biased interpretation now, my friend.
Regarding Candace Owens, there was this video of her that was going viral at a college campus talking to students about black on black crime, and she said something that really pissed me off. Oh, no. She said that you're more likely to be struck by lightning as an unarmed black man than get shot by the cop. I looked up the data for myself, and she was right.
So this is the one part that I saw that I've kind of thought through a little bit. The first thing I want to point out here with his argument, besides the fact that it's obviously wrong, is listen to his wording carefully.
Black on black crime, and she said something that really pissed me off. She said that you're more likely to be struck by lightning as an unarmed black man than get shot by the cop. I look up the data from
as an unarmed black man is to be shot by the cops. Now, when I first heard this, I too was like, that's interesting. How do I? He said shot by the cops. Shot by the cops. Not every victimization at the hands of police is due to a shooting. George Floyd was the massive internationally recognized example, and he did not die from being shot. So that's the first thing. It is dishonest to come up here and say, well, black people aren't shot that much. Yeah, because not every fucking time it's about shooting. Sometimes it's just about victim. Sometimes it's just,
He
are
also
you
noted that I am an
victimized?
ape and I should go F myself.
Are you victimized by the police at higher rates? So I went ahead and got some data here. This is from Statista. Number of people shot to death by the police in the United States from 2017 to 2023 by race. Now, you are going to still see, when it comes to raw numbers, more white people killed yearly by police than black people, but obviously that's because there's way more white people in the country. When you adjust for the population, when you adjust per capita, it becomes very obvious that black people are disproportionately victimized by police when we are looking at these numbers per capita. So here's a nice graph right here. Yeah. Oh wait, this is shot. This is also shot though. Oops. But I have another one to go through. So I guess we'll talk about this one regardless, even though this is actually about shooting. Because this one says down here, sadly, the trend of fatal police shootings in the United States seems to only be increasing, with a total 238 civilians having been shot, 30 of whom were black as of March 27th, 2023. In 2022, there were 1,096 fatal police shootings. In 2021, there were 1,048 fatal shootings. Additionally, the rate of fatal police shootings among black Americans, which was much higher than that for any other ethnicity.
He also noted that I am an ape and I should go F myself.
Thank you for the donation. Additionally, the rate of fatal police shootings among black Americans was much higher than that for any other ethnicity, standing at 5.9 fatal shootings per million of the population per year between 2015 and March 2023. So even if we want to talk about just the data involving shootings, it's obvious that black people are disproportionately victimized here by the police because there's higher rates of crime, because there's higher rates of poverty, because of systemic racism like redlining, the drug war, etc. Now, this one's a little bit broader, which is one I wanted to look at anyway. This is the risk of being killed by police use of force in the United States by age, race, ethnicity, and sex. So, we use data on police-involved deaths to estimate how the risk of being killed by police use of force in the United States varies across social groups. Okay, we find that African American men and women, American Indian and Alaska Native men and women, and Latino men face higher lifetime risk of being killed by police than do their white peers. We find that Latino women and Asian Islander men and women face the lower risk of being killed by police than do their white peers. Risk is highest for black men, who, at current levels of risk, face about a 1 in 1,000 chance of being killed by the police over the life course. The average lifetime odds of being killed by police are about 1 in 2,000 for men and about 1 in 33,000 for women. Risk peaks between the age of 25 and 35 for all groups. For young men of color, police use of force is among the leading causes of death. Huh. So you're telling me that black men have the highest risk of being killed by police? You'll realize very quickly the conversation is not, did you know that there is a genocide of black men at the hands of the racist police? Oh, anybody saying that is an idiot. There's not a genocide happening. It's not black men are not being intentionally targeted by the racist evil cops. I mean, not most of the time. But it's about the risk. It's about the potential to be victimized. And the fact that black people are disproportionately more likely to be victimized by the police is a result of systemic racism. It's not that 9 million black men are shot and killed by police every year. It's that even if you have 2 white guys and then 10 black guys, at the end of the day, the black people have a higher risk of being killed by the police. And if that's the case, then that's the problem. That's what we need to talk about. But instead, he's going the likelihood of being shot by police is less likely than being struck by lightning, guys, to make it sound like it's so rare, even if it is super rare. If black people are at a higher risk due to the fact that they're black and previous historical racist policies, then that's systemic racism. We need to talk about it. But again, people miss the point. I am actually entirely jerking myself off here. Yes, I think that I have like exceptionally better arguments than most people on the left. Most people I hear argue on the left are absolute morons. I've never heard any decent arguments, so I don't even entirely fault this guy for having this perception of the left, quote unquote. But again, he's talking about like researching, looking this stuff up. My dude, if you did some honest and earnest research, it's not that hard to find this. You know, this is 2019. Just look up, are black people more risk of killed by police stats? Like, it's not that difficult, my friend.
For myself, and she was right. There is more people who get struck by lightning than black unarmed men get shot by the police. Y'all some?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure if you really narrow it down like that, you'll be able to make all kinds of claims.
Sitting here editing this video, and I figured I'd go in and get the most recent numbers. For the year 2022, there have been 12 unarmed black people shot and killed by the police. 12. And if we
Okay, so if there's 12 black men, but only like 2 white men, then that means black men are at a higher risk, etc., right?
look at the National Weather Service, there have been 19 people struck by lightning and died in 2022.
Wait, really? So this doesn't even mean that you're at a higher likelihood. Just if it happened more so. This isn't even how math works. This doesn't mean that you're more likely to be struck by lightning than shot by cops. You're just saying more people were struck by lightning in the year of 22 than black men were shot by cops. Is this internationally? Wait. Is this internationally? By state. Okay. Yeah, this is such a bad way of comparing numbers, man. Yikes. Just if it happened more doesn't mean that it's more likely to happen.
There is legitimately more people getting struck by lightning and dying than black people are being shot and killed by the police. Spare me.
And yeah, more black people are killed also. Like, let's see, how many black people were shot by police in the year of 2022? 225 people in the year of 2022. 225 black people were shot to death by police in the year of 2022. I guess he would say, well, how many of them were armed? Were they a threat? I get that. Those are valuable numbers that do bring more nuance and value to the conversation. But I mean, if we're going to do it the cheap, cheesy way that he's doing this, well, in 2022, 225 black men were shot to death. And in 2022, only 11 people were struck by lightning. So you're more likely to get shot than struck by lightning.
Blows my mind. Because I was one of these people that genuinely and honestly thought thousands of young black men unarmed were being shot and killed by the police.
Then you were taught wrong, my friend. You were incorrect then. Whoever told you that is dumb. It's not thousands of men getting shot by police. It's that as a black man, you are at a higher risk of being victimized by police due to subconscious racial bias, due to systemic racism, historical racist policies, which have contributed to higher rates of poverty within black areas, which contributes to higher rates of crime, which contributes to more police involvement, which contributes to a higher risk of meeting a police officer, which contributes to a higher risk of being victimized by a police officer.
But no. After watching a few Candace Owens videos, that's when I stumbled across Brandon Tatum. Specifically, he had this video talking about white privilege. That's the one that really stuck with me, and then I just dove deep into the rest of his content. So much so that I reached out to him on Instagram and I sent him a
What did he say about the white privilege, I mean? Where are you? Okay. You know, with white privilege, it just to be crystal clear, it does not even mean that like white people never face issues. It doesn't mean that like white people haven't been poor, broken, starving, in desperate need of help. It usually just means that white people, at least on average, and especially statistically, are less likely to face difficulties or obstacles because of their race. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that white people never suffer. It doesn't even mean that there's more black people suffering than white people necessarily. It just means that if there is a white person suffering who is in a tough spot, it's less likely that that is a result of them being white. Whereas if we're talking about a black person who is or who is living in poverty, who is being victimized by police, this is due to historical racist policies that targeted people specifically for their race.
A DM and just said, hey, thank you for being such a guiding figure right now. I'm currently figuring everything out, kind of lost, but thank you in your content for being there. And he responded. He said, hey, let's chat one day. We'd love to help you out. Anything you need. Blew my mind. So we have a conversation on the phone. I'll never forget this phone call ever. But at the end of that phone call,
it blew my mind, dude. After I had that talk with Tatum, my third eye opened. Suddenly I realized, there's no systems at play. External factors mean nothing. This is just the fault of black people. Third eye awoken.
Invited me out to the Young Black Leadership Summit that him, Candace Owens, and Turning Point USA was throwing at the White House. Is Trump as bad as people say he is?
Oh, here we go. I met Trump and he was really nice. Here we go, guys. Ugh.
I arrived at the Young Black Leadership Summit, and let me tell you, this was the blackest event I've ever gone to. There were 200 to 300 young black people from the ages of like 18 to 30 in DC going to the White House. Like when we were at the hotel, everyone's in their do-rags and bonnets and playing spades, and everyone brought PS4s. It was just crazy. I had never seen anything like it, especially people who are all Republicans. And I was like, what am I even doing here? What is going on? So the next day we wake up and we're going to the White House. So we get to the White House and we go through all of the security checkpoints. We end up in the, I believe it was the East Room, front row, waiting for him to come out, and he comes out, crowd erupts.
Wow, you mean the crowd cheered for Trump? Hold on, wait a minute. You're telling me you were at a big event full of conservatives and then they started cheering when Trump came out? Man, my mind is being blown now.
They all go crazy. It's insane. And he gives a speech. So at this point, the speech ends. He walks down to the rope and he's saying goodbye to everybody and shaking people's hands.
He also noted that I am an ape and I should go F myself.
Let's go and do some donuts real quickly. Rule Force, thanks for the 5. The sad fact that Tatum and Owens are married, humanity is doomed. Yeah, hopefully they don't breed. Fembro, thanks for the $10. Anybody else get a sense of deja vu? Could swear there was another ex-leftist who simply towed the line and switched to the right and is now a trending right-leaning figure. Weird. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the Misha girl. Regeneron saying, thanks for the 2. My income tax came. I'm buying me an Apple tablet. Nice. Very nice. Also, what was the deal with him bringing up the PS4? Is that like a black culture thing? Dude, growing up in the hood, man, all my friends had a PS4. You ain't black unless you got a PS4.
Shake his hand. I said, thank you for rope. And he's saying goodbye to everybody and shaking people's hands. And he comes up to me. I shake his hand. I said, thank you for having us. He said, thank you for being here. And he went on to the next person. And I just,
wow. You mean he didn't just like start screaming the N-word at you? Clearly Trump is not so racist after all.
Stood there in just amazement about how not even a year ago I was marching with BLM and now I'm shaking Donald Trump's hand. What is life? Whoa. And it was so shocking and amazing. I want to share it online. So after the event, we all go back to the hotel. We eat and kicking it, whatever. And the media is having a meltdown. I'm saying
they cut folks react after young black conservatives pile on the praise for Trump. Live from the sunken place, Trump attends MAGA cap wearing young black leadership summit. Okay. I like how it's like the media is going crazy. 2 publications that nobody's ever heard of in their entire life.
People cut up the clips of the speech, people lying about him. That weekend, Al Sharpton was lying about us.
Because it was not a summit, it was a Make America Great rally. They used some young blacks as props, which really is an insult to them.
It was crazy.
I like how when Al Sharpton says that, it's like, oh my God. But then when Candace Owens says the exact same thing, except for the Democrats using black people, every single black conservative is like, yes! Like just starts soy facing.
Because all I saw was Trump talking about fake news, but it was real. That was the first moment in my life where I was a part of fake news. Al Sharpton, someone I used to look up to regarding black issues, I always saw him on TV, is lying about me. It's personal now. I'm like, oh, maybe there is fake news. Maybe we are being lied about. What else is out there? What is going on? Not to mention, I didn't tell anyone I was going to the White House. I just went, I told my boyfriend, I told obviously my job knew, roommates knew, but I didn't tell a lot of my friends, I didn't tell a lot of family. I just went. So I posted about it online and I said, wow, this is crazy. Being invited to the White House, met Donald Trump, this is insane. To this day.
So this is from Vox. This is going to be a biased article probably. The thing is, have I ever said that Donald Trump is racist? If I did, I would want to know what was the justification for that. Because like I don't think that Trump is particularly not racist. But I don't know, like, what has Trump said or done that I'm like, oh, that's without a doubt, he's racist, dude. Has he said or done racist things? Yeah, I think probably the Chinese virus thing was the worst, I would say. He has a long history of racist controversies. The Department of Justice sued the Trump management corporations for violating the Fair Housing Act. Federal officials found evidence that Trump had refused to rent to black tenants and lied to black applicants about whether apartments were available. In 1975, he signed an agreement which agreed not to discriminate to renters of color without admitting to previous discrimination. I mean, a lot of this says like they were treated in ways that was pretty shitty. Trump fired Kevin Allen, a black contestant, for being overeducated. You're an unbelievably talented guy in terms of education, and you haven't done anything, Trump said on the show. At some point, you have to say, that's enough. What? Huh? I don't know. I don't think that like Trump is necessarily this raging racist person, but I think that he definitely emboldens a lot of racism and fuels racism. I mean, even the comments originally in 2015 that we were all against, right? Like the whole, or that at the time I was like, why is the media freaking out about this? The calling Mexican immigrants rapists who are bringing crime and bringing drugs. Like even that could have been worded in a way that didn't sound like you were saying all Mexicans are rapists. Trump officially seized the mantle of the law and order candidate, an obvious dog whistle playing to white fears of black crime, even though crime in the U.S. is historically low. In a pitch to black voters in 2016, Trump said, you're living in poverty, your schools are no good, you have no jobs, 58% of your youth is unemployed, what the hell do you have to lose? I mean, that's not even, I don't think, of all the things to include, that is not the racist comment. Holy shit. Trump stereotyped a black reporter at a press conference in February 2017 when April Ryan asked him if he plans to meet Congressional Black Caucus. He repeatedly asked her to set up the meeting, even as she insisted that she's just a reporter. Yeah, I think the worst, though, the most damning is not so much like Trump personally is racist, because we can't see inside anyone's head, but like based on his repeated behavior and the way that he has emboldened racism in this country, coupled with his whole Chinese virus thing, it makes it pretty obvious that even if you're going to take the charitable route of, well, maybe Trump himself is not personally a raging racist, what he's doing, his actions, his behavior is contributing to more racism. So whether or not Trump is actually personally a racist, I actually don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. He could be the most accepting, loving, libtard person behind closed doors, okay? But if he is saying things and behaving in ways that emboldens racism and continues racism, then Trump is leading to more racism. It's bad.
There are friends and family members that I have not spoken to since October 27th of 2018 because I met
Hunter's somehow forgetting the shithole country comment. I have not forgotten that. I'm trying to be as charitable as possible if there's a case where somebody is like this guy is watching this video. The shithole thing is there's too much plausible deniability there. Hey, kitty cat. Shoo. Shoo. Go. Go. Get out of here. Cat. Come on. Come on, get out of here. Come on, cat. Hey, nope. Come on. Go on, get out of here. Shoo. Come on. We're leaving. Get out of here. Get out of here. All right.
Donald Trump and the family members that I have not spoken to since October 27th, 2018, because I met Donald Trump. Insanity. Pure insanity.
That is, by the way, a bad route to take. I totally understand, like, okay, if like I were a minority group and then one of my friends was like raging against the group that I'm a part of, then I would I probably wouldn't want to be friends with that person. But like, if somebody voted for Trump or met Trump, I wouldn't just be like, I'm not friends with you anymore. Probably because I have way more of a backbone and I'm actually able to like substantiate and defend my ideas, where a lot of dumb fucks on the left are just kind of like, well, it makes my tummy feel bad, and I heard somebody on CNN say that Trump was racist, so I'm not going to be friends with you because now you're a racist.
Mind you, again, I've been exposing myself to different views the entire year. I've been to BLM rallies, I met Van Jones from CNN, and it all crickets. But the second I go see Trump, now all of a sudden I'm losing friends and family, now all of a sudden I'm getting
Well, yes, because one person is extremely controversial in regards to their take on race and racism, and then the other people you met aren't so controversial when it comes to the issue of race and racism. What? Dude, I hung out with my friend the other day. I went to Dunkin' Donuts with my friend the other day, okay? Crickets. Nobody gave a shit. I just went out to dinner one time with Adolf Hitler, and everybody's whining about it. What is the fuck? What's wrong? God, the intolerant left, man. That's not me comparing Trump to Hitler, by the way. It's just me giving an insane example that really accentuates the lack of thought and nuance put into these types of arguments.
Canceled and everything's wrong, and I'm seeing fake news on the media. I was completely over it at that point, and since then I have been on this mission to find the truth for myself. I'm not aligning or subscribing myself to being a Democrat or a Republican.
Okay,
No.
fair enough. Politically homeless then.
Oh, I'm voting on values, and that's what I care about the most. Yes, I ventured over to the right, and I have a lot of right-leaning friends, and even Blair White talks about this, but I've been on a lot of these right-leaning organizations. I've been on The Blaze, Daily Wire, PragerU, Turning Point USA, but they invite me. They want to talk to me.
Wait, does he think when they say that like these things are racist, he thinks that like literally Ben Shapiro would say, don't have a black person who conveniently agrees with me on the show because he's black? You know, that's not what it means, right? It's more so about like the type of rhetoric that comes from these organizations that ends up fueling racist ideas and beliefs. It's not just like everybody at Blaze Media is a racist and is going to call you the N-word. Like, it's not that cut and dry, my friend.
No leftist organizations do that, because far too often they keep trying to shut out and cancel people instead of having an actual conversation. Throughout that year,
like how the right wing is trying to cancel Bud Light right now because they dared have a trans person involved with their stuff one time.
Exploring different ideas, and even from the White House to now, it is evident that the woke ideology is very destructive. Why are so many people scared to just share their opinion? You want to
What opinion? What opinion, dude? I hate this shit. I'm trying so hard to be nice, but it's hard, okay? It's rock hard.
Equality and acceptance, but you won't even people scared to just share their
Why are they so scared to share their opinions? What opinion? Your opinion that like chocolate ice cream is better than vanilla? Okay, yeah, go for it. Your opinion that black people should be used as a currency again? Maybe they should be afraid to share that opinion. Like, which opinion, dude?
opinion. You want equality and acceptance, but you won't even listen to someone who's super close to you and the opinion that they share. And everything's so dramatic. It's like, wow, because someone doesn't want drag queens to